All right. How's it going, fellas? Okay, we got people coming here. No one on my Instagram, but that's okay. I need to invite someone. Anyway. Okay, fellas. All right. So we are starting off. This is my third broadcast, and I feel like hey guys, so waiting for everyone to join. Thanks for being with me. I'm actually streaming to 2 platforms today, and this is my third stream overall. The first 2 have solely been broadcasted to my Chinese audience, and now I have actually, audience from 2 brilliant countries, from Ukraine and from China. So for those of you who don't know me, for those of you who don't know my background, so I come from Ukraine. I live in the capital of Ukraine, Kiev city, and I'm just trying to expand my business, to expand my business activities, to different countries. So, well, actually, it's not entirely true. In the beginning, there was China only, but I figured that there is an interest toward me as a tutor, in China. There's also an interest towards me, in different countries. So I basically realized that I can also offer some services to my homeland, which is Ukraine. So I'm gonna be sharing this screen, and I'll ask all of you guys not to interrupt me because this is more of a live stream, not a discussion. Let me show you the agenda for tonight's live stream. So I hope you can see it properly, and I hope that you can hear me properly. So this agenda can only be visible for my Chinese audience. For my Ukrainian audience, unfortunately, I cannot demonstrate my screen to you, so you'll just have to grab it on the go, right, on the fly. So the topic for tonight's broadcast number 3 is finding yourself. So I'm pretty fascinated by this topic, because I've been thinking about how to name tonight's broadcast, and what I realize is that I can only speak to what I know, or I can only talk about something that I really have genuine interest in, right? So, and I think that my experience can be helpful, right? Maybe you will find something that will resonate with your life from, some of the lessons that I learned throughout my life. Okay, so I'm gonna follow the following agenda. So we are starting with my talk. As I told you, please do not interfere in neither Tencent meeting nor Instagram. Once again, I'm streaming to 2 platforms. I'm going to be talking about my experience, some of the lessons, some of the lessons, not only from my personal life, but what I've learned from my mentors. I told in my announcement that this talk is heavily inspired by Simon Sinek, one of my role models, and another model named Tony Robbins, and basically, yeah, this is going to be just a compilation, a mixture, of what I learned and what I'm trying to incorporate in my life, based on these wonderful lessons given by the people that I just mentioned, right? So I'm gonna start with the talk, then we're gonna discuss the quotes that I feel can be beneficial to everybody, right? Not only me, but I'm gonna just share the quotes that impacted me, and still impact me in a big way. And after that, you can ask your questions in the chat, available both in Tencent meeting and on Instagram live stream. Okay, so without further ado, let's get to it. So first and foremost, I want you guys to remember that I do not position myself as an expert, right? I do not position myself as some kind of a God figure who came down from heaven and knows all the answers. No, that's not the case at all. As a matter of fact, I do not know the answers. I'm just looking for the answers all through all my life, and I'm trying to find myself and find some vocations, some passions that really fit me, and go in the line with my past, my present, and my future. Okay. So I'm not sure if you can see this or not, but anyway, I'm just sharing my experience, and basically this is just my view, how I view the world, right, and how I conduct myself as I go through my life. So basically, when we're talking about finding ourselves, we can talk about finding ourselves in terms of arts, in terms of our profession, in terms of who do we want to connect our life with, romantically, right? Who we're gonna get, who we want to get married on, right? But I personally figured, and that's the lesson number one that I actually figured for myself, is that just like when you're trying to focus on something, the best piece of advice is not to start from looking what I need to focus on, right? Whether it's like your physical condition, if you want to get in better shape, right? Or you want to get a promotion, a job at your work, and you want to perform better, and you know that maybe you're taking too much of a load, right? Maybe you're just not setting any priority, right? And you're thinking like, what is the top priority for me? The best piece of advice is here to answer the question what you shouldn't do, rather than what you should do. So answer the question what you don't need to do, right? And just basically clear your table from all the dust, everything that you feel like is not of a super high importance to you, right? It's not a primary, thing for you to do. Just clear it out clear it off from your way, and maybe then you will get to what's really important. And the same technique applies to finding yourself. So basically, I've realized, I'm 31 years old, further 31 years old. At this stage of my life, I know exactly, literally what I'm bad in, right? What I'm horrible at. I know that, I'm really horrible. I'm really awful at counting numbers, right? Which is pretty ironic, because I actually a graduate of an economics university, but I'm awful. I'm just terrible when it comes to counting numbers, right? So I'm not about finances and stuff like that. I'm also not about managing big projects. Well, this project is manageable for me because I actually did it all myself, right? I gathered people, I worked, to promote this event. I set up 2 cameras, right? And, I prepared the, the script and everything, right? But this is a small project. I know that I'm bad at managing people, more than 3 people. As a matter of fact, I like having like maybe 1, 2, or 3 assistant. That's it. I don't want to have a enormous, kind of company where with just a multitude of employees. That's not my path. I realize that because I want to inspire people, and I cannot inspire indirectly. I can only inspire directly. So I want to invest time into in people so that they could feel my leadership and feel my trust in them, and in this way perform better and be better, not only professionally but personally, right? But turning back to this point, so as you clearing all the dust, right? As you are just forfeiting something that you're bad at, or you're forfeiting something that you don't have passion for, right? So I don't have passion for counting numbers, running some massive projects, right? I know that maybe eating healthy food is really good, right? And some people put it, in the middle of their universe, right? So healthy dietary, healthy, kind of way of life is the number 1 priority for them. Like, and it's super awesome goal, but I just cannot relate to that because I still order some pizza every now and then, and I still can drink some beer every now and then, right? So basically, I answered what I'm not good at, or what I don't have goosebumps about, right? And I actually just basically went from there to somewhere where I'm really good at, where I really feel excited about, and I feel goosebumps about, right? So that's my lesson number 1. Basically, just do not wear hats. Right? This is a metaphor for you. Do not wear hats that that don't fit well, right? Do not wear hats that don't fit well. That maybe in short term you can get some instant results. Maybe you can make some money by doing something that you don't love. Maybe you can get some recognition by doing what you don't love. But long term, when you look at 2 years, 3 years, 5 years ahead from now, you'll be dissatisfied, and chances are you're gonna feel really pathetic about what you do because you're gonna be a hostage of something that you don't love or like, at least. And the statues or money won't ever compromise for having this feeling. You know what I'm saying? Do you follow me? Okay, guys. Now, next thing that I want to emphasize. Just a second. Yeah. So in one of my recent videos, I have exposed one interesting concept, one pretty amazing concept, which is called ligometry, right? So, and ligometry is actually your realization, right? Or just understanding that you don't know everything, right? And this when people, especially at a pretty high levels, professional levels, right? are entitled to make some big decisions, right? To take some big decisions, they cannot in 100 million years kind of admit that they don't know some basic things, right? And I feel that this is where everything starts. So when you're not able to show vulnerability, when you're not able to, admit that you don't know something, right? Automatically, it converts into you leading an unhappy life. Do you understand, fellas? Because pretty much, right? If you try if you always try to be the smart ass, if you want to be that guy who always knows the answers, at some point you will get caught, right? Or you'll get to some uncomfortable situation that you don't want to handle at all, right? So I feel that the lesson number 2 about finding yourself is at least trying to be fine, trying to be okay with something that you don't know, and ask for help. In one of the psychological trainings that I gone through in the recent year, we were taught that no one's gonna help you unless you raise the hand, right? In order to get help, you need to acknowledge that you need help. Hey, I need help. And that's totally fine. I feel like people around us are always willing to help, right? If you're not whining, right? If this is something, this situation really requires someone else's expertise, knowledge, experience, you can ask for help, and people are more than willing to help. Because, believe it or not, most of the people are really, really awesome, And I believe that all the people are awesome. Some people just got into the dark place where maybe they're doing something or acting in a manner that they don't even wanna act, right? But maybe because the surrounding, right, or the environment that they put themselves in requires them to be, some kind of badass, so some kind of a bad person for this matter. Anyway, so lesson number 2: don't be afraid to show vulnerability, and that will kind of enlighten your path towards who you truly are. Okay, so that's lesson number 2. Okay, let's move along. So the next lesson I have for you guys is about fulfillment. Okay, so I don't know if you guys know the connotation of this word in English, but fulfillment is used pretty often in the line with happiness, right? Fulfillment and happiness, they are in the same ballpark, right? In the same ballpark. And but there is actually a distinction, right, between these two terms. So fulfillment is something. No. Let me start with happiness. So as one of my gurus named Simon says, right? He says that happiness is a state that you're always trying to catch, right? You're trying to catch the state because it's always fleeting, right? It's always kind of bouncing all around the place and you kind of catch it. So what we do as human beings, we constantly, achieve something, accomplish something, and we kind of get this feeling of excitement and feeling great about ourselves, which boils down to the feeling of happiness, right? So happiness is not kind of stable, right? It's not steady. It's always jumping. It's always up for grabs, right? So we're always chasing happiness, right? There is a great movie with Will Smith called In Pursuit of Happiness. Because happiness happens all the time, right? But we need to chase it, right? Otherwise, it would be just, not interesting at all, right? But fulfillment on the other hand, right? We just talked about happiness. Now, fulfillment, on the other hand, is just being at your place. You can maybe maybe you go through a rough patch. Maybe you're having a bad day at work, but when you are doing something that you truly love, that you know that what you do, what your responsibilities, what's your team, or what's your company, corporate culture, everything fits who you are, right? Matches with who you are. You kind of get this feeling of fulfillment. So every day you get up, maybe not inspired, but at least you're not devastated about going to work, right? Every single morning you get up and you know that, hey, what I'm doing actually grows me, right? Because growth is one of my pillars. Is who I am. I want to grow, or I can kind of inspire people on my team, and people there want to be inspired. So things like that. So fulfillment comes from knowing your why. Okay. And it takes me to this next point, this absolutely legendary, magnificent concept by Simon Sinek, actually, called this concept of golden circle, right? I don't know, guys, if you have heard about the concept of golden circle. It actually ranges number 2 in the TED Talks, like all time. So there are 3 talks that are in top 5 that I truly admire. The Golden Circle talk, the talk about vulnerability, and there is a talk by Sir Ken Robbins, who passed away actually just like a year ago. He was just a tremendous mind. How education kills creativity. So these 3 talks are just my favorites. So the golden circle concept is also known as start with why. Okay. So what is starting with why? Everybody, not only people, but companies, organizations, any living organism have their why. Okay. Well, okay, not every living organism, but the body with a consciousness, right? So basically, by knowing your why you do what you do, not what you do or how you do it, by knowing why you get up in the morning, right? You kind of get to understand, and make better decisions as you go through your life. So basically, let me give you an example. Most crowning example is Apple, right? So Apple do not start by saying that, hey, we make awesome computers, we have the best hardware, and we have the smartest engineers. No, they don't advertise this way. They don't position their company this way. What they say in the beginning is actually, hey, we have this concise, pretty neat piece of software, and we believe that with having the software, you can be one of a kind, right? And this is what Apple's is about. It's about standing out. It's about being not one inside of the crowd. It's about actually kind of standing out, right? And demonstrating people that you are one of a kind, or at least you aspire to be one of a kind, right? So this is their philosophy. So when a company kind of conveys, right, their philosophy, it kind of helps everyone who believes in the same thing that they believe, right, kind of resonate with them and buy a piece of their product. Same thing applies to people. Same thing applies to, for example, human resource management inside of the companies. So, for example, when people are hiring professionals, right? So we take an HR manager who is desperately looking to hire a professional executor, right? I don't know. And what we always do, we list all the requirements on the front, on basically on the frontier, right? Requirements that you gotta be skilled at. You gotta know this. You have this much experience in that, and things of this nature. So pretty much what we're looking is a list of skills, right? And it actually does not show us who we're hiring in terms of what kind of a person, what kind of a personality are we hiring, right? Instead of that, that's also not my thought. That's Simon Sinek's thought. That instead of that, we can list not the requirements, not the skills, not the years of experience, although everything matters. All these things matter a lot. But we can start with saying, hey, on our team, we're all about transparency. We're all about synergy and having fun during our work. We feel like we want to exceed the wildest expectations, but we do this, in this kind of trust environment, and we feel like the best thing you can do is to ask how you're doing, right, when you come to work. So like basically, instead of listing all the requirements, all the technicalities, right, you first start with something that can relate to people. Does that make sense? I mean, I know that it sounds a bit romantic, but I feel like if you find this is the way that allows us to find people who believe or who are made of the same that we are made of, right? For instance, in my former company, the main characteristic of my former company that I co-founded was just an intense, supreme workload, willing to take on just loads of work, So if you're workaholic, right? That's our philosophy. So we want you. You need to be workaholic to make friends with us, right? To perfectly fit, our organization. And it was so controversial with who I was that I felt absolutely frustrated and devastated because I couldn't at least leave by myself, right? So when we don't have a match of why we do things, if we don't have a match of our why with the organizational why, high chances are that we're gonna feel frustrated, and we're gonna get into maybe some kind of a crisis as the time flies by. Okay. So it's half time my stream. Thanks for being with me, guys, once again. I just want to make a little disclaimer about myself in terms of a teacher. So not everybody, both from my Ukrainian audience and my Chinese audience, understand what I actually do. So I'm not an English teacher. I do not teach you how to put together words so that they kind of compose the sentence. I do not teach you, some kind of past, future, and present kind of tenses. This is not what I do. I like to position myself as a business-oriented tutor, but who also kind of have a knack for personal development topics. Right, so I'm really into personal development, psychology, and I think that personal development and psychology correlates, and intersects with our work life, so that I feel like there's a perfect match, perfect fit between these two planets, personal, like the psychology and professional development. So personal development and professional development. And I want to kind of bridge the gap between these two planets, between these two worlds, by helping individuals, achieve more by finding who they really are, what they really like, and what they really want to do in their life. And if it actually fits, the companies, the business, the organization they're currently in. Okay. So let's move forward to my favorite quotes, if you don't mind. So this is second to none. Wait, just a second. No, that's almost the last segment of this live stream. So I'm gonna read the quotes out loud, and I'm gonna interpret them up to my understanding. Okay. Just a second, I'm gonna get a sip of water. Okay. So, and by the way, I forgot something absolutely crucial. But I'll get back to this a bit later, so don't worry. Okay. So the first quote comes from Tony Robbins. Guys, on Instagram, I'm so sorry. I actually, for my Chinese audience, I got everything, showcased to them. But for you guys, I'm not that prepared, so I beg a pardon. So sorry. I'm gonna read it out loud. Okay, so the first quote sounds like this. Push will wear you out. When you're pushing to do something, you only got so much willpower. But when you're pulled, right? When there is something larger than yourself that you're here to serve and that you believe you're made for, that brings energy. Tony Robbins. Okay, so Tony Robbins jumping on the bandwagon of Simon Sinek, or Simon Sinek is jumping on the bandwagon of Tony Robbins. But basically they're saying the same thing, that when you're enduring through something, when you're, making yourself, get up in the morning, right? You kind of come to terms with yourself that, hey, this is my job, this is what I do, I need to pay the bills, I need to send my money to my mother, I don't know, whatever the case may be. When you come to terms with something that you don't like and you kind of push through it, right? It will eventually give you willpower, right? Which is not bad. Having willpower is cool and awesome, and I myself lack willpower a lot, right? Because I'm so romantic at times, right? And I'm kind of living in this castle made of glass, right? Living in this castle. But when you are not pushing through something, right? But you are pulled towards something where you really feel excited, feel excitement about your upcoming challenges or your upcoming tasks. This is the feeling that cannot be traded for anything, right? This is the feeling of being at the right spot, right? So when you're at the right spot, you feel like you're being pulled to get up in the morning and go to work and do things that are truly exceptional. Well, for me, I like to inspire people. I like attention. I cannot basically close my eyes about this. On this, and eventually it brings you energy. For those of you who've seen some Tony Robbins videos, Tony is all about the energy. He says that whatever we do in our life, we need to find something that brings us energy. Energy, the juice of life. On top of that, and I'm not talking about drinking 10 cups of coffee per day. I'm not talking about that. Something that brings you energy from within, right? Bringing energy from within so that you could accomplish more, some absolutely unimaginable result. Okay, that was quote number 1. Don't do something that where you have to be pushed through. Do something that where you pulled towards something. Okay. Okay. The next phrase is coming from the guy named Joshua. So he says that you cannot find peace. Peace is already in you. You just need to uncover it. Okay. Philosophical thing, absolutely. This guy is one of the minimalists. The minimalists is the movement started by 2 guys, Joshua and Ryan. They live in America, and you know that overconsumption in America is just a problem number 1, number uno. But not only in America. People are filling their life, saturate their life with just stuff that they don't need. Both our apartments and our minds get so much stuff, so much clutter that we don't need. And he's all about, cleaning up this trash, right? Just and this quote means that we have the peace inside of us, but for the most part we cannot find it because we're cluttered with so much stuff. We're overwhelmed with so many things in our life, on our computer, in our smartphone. And this overload just kills us. We cannot find the peace that we used to have, maybe being kids or anywhere or at any point of our lives. Some people might not feel peaceful at all. They're always running. They always have this bunch of things to do, and they cannot find their way to peace. And maybe they think that maybe going somewhere to a secluded place somewhere in the mountains will help them, but that you cannot find peace. It's inside. You just need to uncover it. I would like to tell you how to uncover it. This is maybe just a topic for another discussion. Okay. Now we have the following quote, also from Tony Robbins. If I could uncover what beliefs and values control me, I can literally redesign me. Once again, if I could uncover what beliefs and values control me, I can literally redesign myself. Okay, so this phrase pertains to the same concept, right? The concept of not treating the symptoms, right? But treating the problem, right? So we cannot, if we get headache all the time, 2 times per day, and we just take some medicines, maybe this will treat the symptom, right? The pain, the headache, but it won't treat the root problem, right? The core problem. So sometimes we need to change the values or beliefs or how we view the world, right? I can see black and white. I can see positive and negative, right? There's a lot of things in between, right? There could be almost positive or almost negative things. But I can make a conscious decision that I'm gonna only see the world through the positive lenses, right? This is my hardwired belief, right? This is my choice, and I'm gonna die supporting it, and kind of guarding it, okay? Because I'm not gonna fall into trap of thinking, that I cannot do something, or maybe shy away from responsibilities. Something unpleasant happened, but that's my responsibility to fix it. Furthermore, all the problems are super awesome opportunities to become stronger. I'm going through a pretty difficult period in my life right now, but I know that as I'm dealing with everything at this point, I'm becoming stronger. I'm becoming better, and and once I figure everything out, I'm never gonna be the same. I'm gonna be a much stronger person, more disciplined and dedicated, and stuff of this nature. So let's look on the positive. Let's change our beliefs and values, and basically, you know, life can be our oyster again. Okay, the world can be the oyster again. That's a phrase. Okay. Okay, and now the phrase that I've slipped recently. So fulfillment is a right, not a privilege. Okay, also by Simon Sinek. So once again, when we come to a bar with our friends, okay, just a second, guys. When we come to a bar with our friends, and someone says, I totally love my job, right? And everybody goes like, really? You love your job? You're so happy. Because everyone's displeased with their job. So that's the world that we're living in. A lot of people just hate their job, or at least they're not a fan of their job. And when they see someone who's totally excited and in love with their job, they feel kind of this kind of envy, envy, and kind of, don't understand how it happened that maybe someone loves their job and I'm not in love with my job. So fulfillment is a right, not a privilege. Everyone has to love what they do, right? And not push through something. Once again, don't push through something. Be pulled by something, okay? And and the final quote that I have today comes from Henry Ford. So he once said that's a pretty popular quote, that the one who keeps doing what he's doing, I'm sorry. The one who keeps doing what he's always done will always be who he has always been, right? So you cannot change, you cannot attain, some awesome, tremendous results if you keep doing what you've always been doing. That seems so obvious. However, not everybody is changing, something. They just keep doing what they're doing. They're keep sticking to what they're good at. Maybe that's okay, and you can get promoted at some point. But when I work with my students and who want to get a promotion, I tell them that if you take one step forward, if you go an extra mile, believe me, you'll get noticed. The main kind of trick here is not to kind of perform or do an extra one time. You have to consistently, go an extra mile, consistently deliver more than your peers, and in this way you'll get promoted, right? Look at me. I'm doing the live streams. Maybe like 2 years ago I was so unsympathetic, toward people who were doing live streams. I was thinking like, hey, what kind of a kind of thing is that kind of only bragging off and showing off. So for me, live streams was kind of something that people do to show off, to brag, to gather attention. Now I'm doing them, and I feel like I need to take risk to get to some tangible results, okay? Because otherwise, without taking risk, without experimenting, how else you gonna get to some point where you've never been? How else you gonna become a person who you never been, right? Okay. So yeah. Guys, I'm thankful for you to join me today. Not sure there's gonna be a lot of questions from you. Do you have any questions? Okay. I will be wrapping up this live stream, and I'm thankful, so thankful for everyone who came over to check it. I hope it's gonna be saved, and I'm gonna be publishing it in my library. I'm gonna share some fragments from this performance. And thank you everyone for coming on stage and supporting me. Hope this was helpful. You have a great day ahead of you guys, and let's be and stick true to who we are, to experience the maximum from this life. Okay, bye bye.